Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. You can watch this program live on our Facebook page. That's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You can also hear us live on audio streaming at Evox PBS receiver app. So join us for another edition of Front and Center with your host, Jerome Toledo.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
This past few days and until now, our country has experienced a severe flooding resulting from seasonal southwest monsoon rains. Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and even some parts of the Visayas and few portions of Mindanao has experienced severe flooding due to heavy rains. And as flood subsides, the problem on solid waste becomes visible. And also, the national and local authorities are working hard to remove and collect thousands of tons of garbage that blocks our drainages and on our natural water system. So how can we solve the problem on solid waste and how can we utilize it to a more purposeful way? So we will have a more discussion regarding that topic. But in the meantime, let's listen into the speech of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. as he attended the launching of a PhilHealth program in Quezon City. Let's listen in.
Mula sa Presidential Communications Office at Radyo Pilipinas, ito ang Presidential Live Event. Presidential Live Event.
Ng DOH. Please take your seats. Dr. Mercado ng PhilHealth na siyang namumuno at nagpapatakbo nitong ating bagong programa. Si Secretary Benny Laguesma ng DOLE ay nag-uusap kami, excited siya kasi ang malaking sektor na matutulungan nitong bagong yakap, na itong bagong programa na yakap ay ang ating mga manggagawa. Kaya nakakatuwa naman at talagang yun ang aming mga habol na matulungan. At Secretary Decgo na nagtumulong sa atin, together of course with PhilHealth and DOH, na buuhin itong bagong programa na ito. At nandito rin ang ating kaibigan, ang former, what do I address you at? Secretary or Senator? Basta ang ating kaibigan na former secretary, former senator, Marojas, at ang lahat ng mga nakikilahok dito sa ating bagong programa. Ang katotohanan, hindi naman talaga ito bagong programa. Ngunit ito'y dating programa na pinalawak namin ng husto. Dahil po, sa aming karanasan, ang nangyayari, bakit masyadong mataas ang mortality rate kung tawagin sa mga malalaking ospital, sa regional hospital, sa mga provincial hospital? Pagka yung pasyente, ba't ang daming namamatay? At nagtatanong kami, ang sagot sa amin, simple lang. Dahil napakalayo ng ating malalaking ospital doon sa kanilang pinanggagalingan. At kaya napakahirap makapunta kahit na may kaunting nararamdaman, ay sabi hindi na bale dahil napakalayo, kaya kailangan ko maghanap ng mag-alaga ng mga bata, hindi kailangan ko mag-off sa trabaho, kaya magbabayad ako ng pamasahe, lahat-lahat. Kaya kaya namin sabi, pagdating dito sa amin, sa ospital, malala na masyado ang karamdaman nila. Wala na kaming magawa. Basta't inaalagaan na lang, ang tawag sa mga doktor, make comfortable na lang. Kaya sabi, paano natin may iwasan yon? Dahil kailangan ibaba ang healthcare natin na hindi lamang sa malalaking ospital, kung hindi sa mga maliliit na mga clinic, maliliit. Ang tawag natin dati, RHU, yung Rural Health Unit. Ngunit hindi talaga masyadong nalalagyan ng doktor at saka ng nurse at saka midwife yung mga RHU natin. Kaya hindi natuloy yung programang yun na mabuti. Kaya ito ngayon ang aming ginagawa. Dahil ang karamihan, siguro mga 80-85% ng reklamo ng may nararamdaman ay simple lamang, hindi naman komplikado. Matitignan lang ng doktor, mabibigyan lang ng gamot, sasabihan, magpahinga ka ng konti bago ka papasok ulit. Kayang-kaya yun sa hindi kailangan pumunta pa sa regional hospital, sa tertiary care hospital, sa provincial hospital, kaya naman doon sa mas maliliit. Kaya ito yung aming ginawa. Binaba natin ang serbisyo ng healthcare natin para mas malapit doon sa pinanggagalingan ng ating mga magiging pasyente at hindi na kailangan magpa-confine sa malalaking ospital. Kaya't maayos na yung problema nila. Kaya't yan ang layunin talaga nitong ating yakap program. Kaya't karagdagan pa doon, maraming tayong ginawa. Yung nagdagdag tayo ng mga testing, kagaya ng naipaliwanag ng ating yung mga tagapagsalita kanina, ay marami na 13 laboratory tests, 6 na cancer screening, kabilang na rin ang mammogram, liver ultrasound, low-dose chest CT scan, colonoscopy, at pati na yung gamot. Binawasan natin at dinagdagan natin ang mga gamot mula sa 54 na gamot, naging 75 na ang gamot na covered ngayon ng PhilHealth. Kaya yan ay malaking maitutulong natin sa ating mga kababayan at mas malaki na ang coverage. Kasama din dyan, ang malaking reklamo dati sa PhilHealth ay napakahaba ng mga pila at nag-aantay masyado yung mga tao para makuha nila yung kanilang claim. Ngayon, talagang pinupursige namin na mag-digitalize ang PhilHealth para hindi na kinakamay ang mga registration, ang mga konsultasyon, ngayon nagagawa na online. Hanggat lahat, yung mga registration, pwede nang online. Siyempre, kung magpapatingin ka, pupunta ka, magpapatingin ka sa doktor. Pero lahat ng record mo, online na. Kaya pagka nabigyan kayo ng prescription, ay hindi nyo kailangan kunin doon din sa ospital kung saan mo nakuha yung prescription. Kung saan ang malapit na PhilHealth accredited na pharmacy, doon na lang kayo kukuha. Meron kayong bibigyan kayo ng QR code. At yung QR code na yon, basta ipakita ninyo doon sa lugar na yon, makukuha nyo na yung gamot. Kaya kasama yung digitalization dyan. Lahat po ito ay mga natutunan nating leksyon nung nakaraang pandemya. At nakita natin nung panahon ng COVID, nakita natin kung ano yung pagkukulang ng ating healthcare system, kung ano yung mga kailangan patibayin, ano yung magandang nangyari. Kaya ito yung aming ginawa. At para pinalalapit natin ang healthcare system natin sa taong bayan para naman, unang-una, sila ay magpapatingin kaagad kapag sila ay may nararamdaman. At bukod pa doon, makakatulong pa tayo kung sakali man kailangan silang magpagamot, ay tinutulungan natin sila para pagpamura ng gamot, para bayaran na ng insurance, ng PhilHealth, yung mga gamot at saka yung mga ibang test at yung mga ibang serbisyo. Lahat po yan ay sa aming layunin na talagang pagandahin ang healthcare system natin dito sa Pilipinas. At sa palagay ko, dito pagpatuloy ng yakap na programa ay mararamdaman ng taong bayan na ang pamahalaan ay nandito at ginagawa ang lahat at ginagamit lahat ng kakayahan ng buong pamahalaan upang tulungan kayo, lalong-lalo na kapag kayo ay may sakit. Hindi ko makalimutan ang payo sa akin ng aking ama. At sinasabi niya sa akin, ang alalahanin mo yung healthcare system natin. Sabi niya dahil kahit gaano ka kayaman, kahit gaano ka kasikat, kapag ikaw ay may sakit, hindi mo mararamdaman ang inyong naging pagsisikat na inyong maging pagyayaman. Hindi mo may enjoy pagsama sa inyong pamilya at lahat ito ay mas mahalaga sa yaman, mas mahalaga sa sikat. Kaya't yan po ang binibigyan namin ng prioridad ang ating mga kababayan na sila ay maging healthy, sila ay may malalapitan at may tutulong kapag sila man ay magkaroon ng karamdaman. Tulungan niyo po kami. Ang isa pang bagay na kailangan natin talagang tugunan, kailangan malaman ng tao na merong ganito. Kung minsan gumagawa kami ng programa na maganda, ngunit walang nag-a-avail dahil hindi nila alam. At kung alam man nila, hindi nila alam kung paano gagawin. Saan sila pupunta o saan sila ano yung website na pupuntahan nila, ano yung eGov app. Kaya gagamitin po natin lahat ng pasilidad ng pamahalaan upang ipalaman sa taong bayan na may ganitong klaseng programa at ganito ang pag-avail kung ano yung pangangailangan ninyo. Kaya po, i-download nyo na po yung eGov Super App. Dahil pag na-download po ninyo, lahat po ito, halos lahat, kasi sila kailangan magpatingin sa doktor, pero halos lahat, yung registration hanggang sa pagkuha sa parmasya ng inyong gamot, lahat ay magagawa na online. Pagka nasa inyo na yung eGov app, para mas madali naman, hindi nyo kayo babiyahe mula sa inyong tinitirahan hanggang sa malalayong mga capital city, sa malalaking regional center, doon na lang po kayo. Kaya't ito po ay para mas madaling mag-avail lahat ng ating mga kababayan dito sa ating bagong serbisyo na ito, dito sa ating bagong programa na ito. Kaya po ay sana pagpatuloy ninyo na parabihin ang ating mga yakap program areas, at ito po ay mararamdaman po ng taong bayan at wala nang mas mahalaga sa ating lahat kung hindi ang maging healthy, maging masigla at hindi lamang para sa atin kundi pati para sa ating mga pamilya. Maraming salamat po. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
And you just heard the speech of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. as he launched the PhilHealth's Yakap program in Quezon City. Front and Center will be right back after these short messages.
This is a public service announcement.
Alamin, ito ang walang pasok guide batay sa DepEd Order No. 37 Series of 2022. Sa sitwasyon ng pagbaha, automatic na walang pasok for all levels sa mga lugar na kasama sa flood warning ng Pag-asa. Automatic suspended naman ang klase at trabaho kung ang flood warning ay inilabas sa oras na nagsimula na ang klase. Para sa mga lugar na hindi kabilang sa flood warning ngunit nakararanas ng pagbaha, nakadepende kay Mayor o kay Governor ang desisyon sa suspensyon. Tandaan, sakop lamang ng DepEd order na ito ang levels K-12 sa mga pampublikong paaralan, ngunit may option naman ang mga pribadong paaralan, state or local universities and colleges na sundin ito.
This is a public service announcement. Public service announcement
From PBS, Presidential Broadcast Service, and Radyo Pilipinas.
Stop and Spot.
Paano tayo makasisigurong legit ang impormasyong nababasa natin sa social media?
Spot the source.
Hindi porke nag-viral, totoo. Kaya laging i-fact check ang impormasyong nakuha at tukuyin kung credible ba ang sources ng mga ito.
Spot the purpose.
Hindi lahat ng nakapost ay may mabuting hangarin. Ang iba ay may intensyong makapanira lamang. Kung sa inyong palagay ay hindi nakatutulong para sa mas nakararami ang impormasyon, huwag na itong i-share para hindi na magdulot pa ng gulo o pagkalito.
Spot the ownership.
Legit o edit? I-double check kung totoong nanggaling sa mga legit news providers ang impormasyon dahil baka edited lamang ito ng kung sino para magpakalat ng fake news. I-check muna ang kanilang mga official social media platforms para makasiguro.
Spot the time.
Updated ka nga ba? O baka outdated na yung balitang na-share mo? Siguraduhin na tingnan mabuti rin ang month, day at year ng impormasyong inyong binabasa upang hindi maging sharer ng mga lumang balita.
Let's be part of the solution. We can be warriors against disinformation and misinformation.
Maging mapanuri sa lahat ng oras. A message from Presidential Communications Office, Department of Education, Commission on Higher Education, DILG, DSWD, Presidential Broadcast Service at Radyo Pilipinas.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome back to Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service with me, Jerome Toledo. And our country has experienced severe flooding resulting from the seasonal southwest monsoon rains these past few days. And some parts of Luzon, including Metro Manila and Central Luzon, as well as in Visayas, has experienced severe flooding due to the heavy rains. And the problem of solid waste becomes visible as floods subsided, and the national and local authorities are working hard to remove and collect thousands of garbage that blocks our drainages and on our natural water system. So how can we manage to solve the problem on solid waste, and how can we utilize it to a more purposeful way? So let's find out with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, with its Assistant Secretary on Environment and also the concurrent Director of the Environmental Management Bureau, none other than Assistant Secretary Jackie Kaankan. Good morning, Assistant Secretary Jackie. This is Jerome Toledo on Front and Center program on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for inviting us to your Radyo Pilipinas World Service with your program Front and Center. Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you
for inviting us.
All right. Thank you so much, ASEC Jackie. So, solid waste management plays a crucial role in mitigating the severe flooding that often plagues the country during heavy rains and typhoons. But first, I would like to ask ASEC Jackie, so what is solid waste management?
Okay, first and foremost, solid waste management is very important. It is about a systematic administration of activities that would provide segregation at source, number one, then segregated transportation, storage, transfer, and processing treatment, and finally, disposal of the solid waste. So this must be in accord with the best practices of public health. So consideration as well is economics, as well as engineering conservation, aesthetics, and other environmental considerations. So these solid waste management activities being implemented must also be responsive to public attitudes. So in essence, it is a practice wherein we regulate the waste chain. It is from the generation from the source, then to the treatment, and to the final disposal. So that is in essence what solid waste management is all about.
Okay. So having said that, so do we have a policy or a law regarding this aspects of regarding this solid waste management, ASEC Jackie?
Yes, we have in the country. This is Republic Act number 9003, so known as the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. So it has been 2 decades already that it was enacted in response to the growing solid waste management problem in the country. So when it comes to the Republic Act 9003, it institutionalized the 3 R's, meaning to reduce, to reuse, and to recycle. So these are the key principles in minimizing our waste generation. So meaning it's very important that waste segregation at source is being practiced through the local government units under the our barangay level. Then they're also mandated to establish materials recovery facilities. And then also with the enactment of this RA 9003, there is a phase out of open and controlled dam sites, meaning this should already been closed by this time.
Okay. So you mentioned that this law, Republic Act number 9003 or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act implemented around 2000. So throughout the years of implementation of this law, so how is this being enforced nationwide and locally? And also, do you see any challenges on enforcing this law, ASEC Jackie?
Yes, and by the way, I forgot also that recently we have also a new law. This is the Extended Producers Responsibility Act in year 2021. So this one naman, it integrates a mechanism where companies that produce plastic packages responsible throughout the life cycle of the product, meaning we are transferring responsibility, accountability from the consumers to the producers, and to focus on waste reduction, recovery, and recycling as well, and promoting or developing environment-friendly products and promoting. This is aligned with the promotion of the circular economy. And going back to your question, yes, definitely throughout the years of implementation of this law, we have several programs to enforce it nationwide and locally. First and foremost, the national and local governments have ongoing programs and activities relative to the proper solid waste management. So continued collaboration and technical guidance is provided by the national government, which is through the DNR and the Environmental Management Bureau to the local government units in promoting the adoption of best practices. So by way of technical assistance to the LGU, we are doing the coordination so that on the part of the local government units, they have also been enacting local ordinances to complement this Republic Act 9003.
Okay, so there's a coordination between local ordinances and also the national laws.
Yes, that is very important, the close coordination and collaboration, whereby we provide the technical guidance to the local government units, and they need to implement it and strictly enforce to solve the solid waste management problem in their area of responsibility. So as part of this enforcement, they need to establish sanitary landfills to close their open and controlled dump sites. And at the barangay level, as I've mentioned, they need to establish materials recovery facilities. So as of this time, based on our record, we have established more than 14,500 MRFs servicing 21,800 barangays nationwide. So more or less, not 100%, but covering about 60% of our total barangays in the country. And also sanitary landfills, we have 373 operational sanitary landfill nationwide. And going to the challenges on enforcing this law, of course, there are challenges facing us. First and foremost is the strengthening of coordination. So we really need to strengthen coordination and support between local and national agencies. We need to support we need the support from our local communities as well as the households to resolve the solid waste concerns in our country. Then another key challenge is the strengthening of the LGUs in terms of their financial and technical capacities to implement their respective solid waste management plans. As it is, they have a 10-year solid waste management plan as basis to implement their programs. And the EMB is providing technical assistance for all the other remaining LGUs who are yet to finalize their management plan as we assist them in their implementation of their approved plans.
Okay.
So another one is the cultural habits, meaning that we rely, as you can see, we rely on single-use plastics. And this exacerbate waste generation. So this challenge could be addressed by the recently enacted law on the Extended Producers Responsibility Act. So it pushes for the principle of plastic neutrality, meaning the volume of plastic being produced should be matched by the volume recovered or removed from the environment. So this will, in essence, also complement Republic Act 9003.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I would like to bring the discussion here, ASEC Jackie, particularly the study of the Commission on Audit that was released in 2023. So it said that despite the implementation of the Republic Act number 9003, the problem in solid waste remains, and that study even predicted a rise of solid waste generation. So in 2030, it will have 19.76 million tons of solid waste that will be collected, while in 2045, it will go up to 24.50 million metric tons. And also, recently, ASEC Jackie, we have experienced severe rains that is being compounded by monsoon rains. It's seasonal, but our country is experiencing heavy flooding, and one of the factors that on flooding, one of the main factors on flooding, not only in Metro Manila but in Luzon, is the improper disposal of garbage. So my question, ASEC Jackie, so since improper disposal of waste is being considered as main cause of flooding every rainy season, so what are the action plans of DNR to address this concern?
Okay, let's go first to the COA 2023 COA findings and recommendations. So from that findings and recommendations, the DNR through the Environmental Management Bureau had been addressing or taking action based on the COA recommendations. So among others is the conduct of massive and continuing information, education, communication campaign. So we have been adding more what they call these strategies on how to reach the level of the grassroots. And we have similarly created these environmental monitoring officers, where as a contractual, wherein they are deployed in the different regional offices, tapped to directly coordinate with the barangays to increase IEC campaign. And as far as the Manila Bay region is concerned, we have also hired more than 2,300 estero rangers and river warriors just to do the cleanup in the clogged esteros and waterways. So on the concern of the COA with regards to the operationalization of the MRF, we have from that year we have increased to 60% the materials recovery facilities established, although it is not yet 100% in terms of the number of total barangays in the country. So these are the things that had been being done by the DNR through the Environmental Management Bureau as far as the COA recommendation. And then going to your question on the flooding, I would just like to first emphasize that the flooding can occur due to a variety of natural and human-induced causes.
Right.
So when we go to the waste problem, the improper waste disposal is one of the causes of the flooding. Aside from, of course, natural causes like what we are recently experiencing now, the heavy rainfall and the tropical storm or the habagat as well from the monsoon rain. So as you can see, prolonged or intense rainfall can overwhelm our drainage systems, our river, and the soil absorption. And then another one is the human-induced, so meaning we have poor drainage system, deforestation, and also urbanization and land development, as well as illegal settlement in the waterways. So going to the question on what are the action plans of the DNR to address this concern. As you can see, one of the program of the DNR is really to push for the review and approval of the 10-year solid waste management plan of the LGUs. And these LGUs should have it is not just a plan or a document, but meaning it is the basis of how they would address the proper implementation of solid waste management. So the DNR extends its assistance to the LGUs in preparing not only the management plan, but as well as the provision of technical expertise as far as their need is concerned, and assist them in the closure of their of the dam sites. Sometimes we have already closed open dam sites, and then it will again recur, or it will again be operated because of in the absence of final disposal facilities. So we also push for really the establishment of materials recovery facility for barangays, as the materials recovery facilities will improve and increase waste segregation and recycling on the barangay level. So as we can see, how could we promote waste segregation at source if the household has nowhere to bring their segregated or recyclable materials? So this is very important, that there should be materials recovery facilities at the barangay level.
Okay.
So even before typhoon arrive, we are continuously reminding the public to properly segregate waste at source and to ensure timely collection and disposal of these facilities.
Okay. Okay. So those are the things that that you mentioned, ASEC, Jackie. So those are the things that you will recommend to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. To make this law strictly enforceable.
Actually, that's a tough question. So with regard to this, let's put it this way. The law, RA 9003, or the Ecological Solid Waste Management, that has long been in place.
Yeah.
So we must, what we need is to move forward to strengthen the implementation of RA 9003. It simply needs to be more effectively enforced by our local governments. And it must also be coupled with financial assistance to the LGUs who are not capable of putting up like sanitary landfill, or to also provide infrastructure. And likewise, the infrastructure would include this, as I mentioned repeatedly, is the establishment of materials recovery facilities in every barangay, because it will enable really proper segregation and promote recycling, composting, and other waste diversion initiatives. And also important is community-wide education and participation, especially regarding correct waste segregation, is very critical. Young people, the informal waste sector, and the local communities must be included in decision-making and monitoring efforts. So the waste problem is something we must collectively address. It should not be left solely to one agency or to the LGU, but community should be also involved in this. So kailangan, we really need social behavioral change.
Okay. So meaning to say, so the solution should not come not only by the government but also by the people. As a
Yes.
Jackie. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm unfortunately we don't have much time, but we're trying to discuss one topic, but we're running out of time. But anyway, thank you so much, Assistant Secretary Jackie Cancan, the Assistant Secretary for Environment of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, for joining us in the program. Thank you.
Thank you very
Have
much.
a good day. Okay. And you just heard the interview of the program to Assistant Secretary Jackie Cancan, the Assistant Secretary for Environment and concurrent Director of the Environmental Management Bureau of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And with that, we now conclude this edition of Front and Center here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our production team and technical personnel, this is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay, love the Philippines.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.